What is going on, everybody? How are you doing today? Happy Saturday. It is a day of great joy because we are back. It's the Step Back, myself, and my good co host, my good friend Josh. How you doing today, Josh?
I'm doing good. I hope everybody's March Madness brackets are doing better than mine at the moment. What's it
Right?
called? It's been a fun season, and we had a couple almost upsets, but a lot of surprises, and we're starting to get into playoff form with the NBA, so it's very exciting.
Very, very exciting. And just like the brackets, Josh's bracket is lit on fire. California is kind of hot right now, so if you hear that noise in the back, that's just my fan. So my apologies moving forward with this show today. But we are here. We're going to talk some NBA. We are going to talk some midseason check-in. Talk about Bam's 83. I have a lot to say about that as a Laker Kobe fan. And then our starting five. We got some good topic for our starting five. But before we get to all that, we are close to 400 subscribers on this channel. Please share it out to your friends. If you have a second account, subscribe, like, do all that stuff because we're almost close. We got a big push from our good friends over there on LBHT show. So we're almost to 400 subscribers on this channel. It's been awesome. We're happy. We're excited. So please, we're a few away. I believe we're seven away from 400. So if you got that extra account or you know somebody, send them the link, tell them to subscribe, and we appreciate you. On our road to 400, and then next goal is 500. So, but what's going on, J to Six? Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday and your bracket is doing good, unlike mine and Josh's. I don't even think I did a complete bracket, so I don't even know why I said that. But Josh, we are close to the mid-season, or we are
Honestly,
in
we're
the
probably a
mid-season.
little past the midseason.
Yeah, we're actually past the mid-season
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we didn't do anything for All-Star break. Let's do some check-in, and we'll start off in the Eastern Conference right now. The one of the teams that you know we thought was going to be good, first place, the Pistons, Detroit, a surprising team. I think surprising because we thought they weren't going to be able to keep afloat while Tatum was
Well,
out.
I said they were the second best team in in the East, and I guess
Okay,
I underrated them a little.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I thought because of Tatum being out, they would be in the playoff picture, but wouldn't be like their win at 47 is very surprising to me. I thought they'd be like a 35, 40, and the fact that they're at 47, close to almost 50, that
I
is.
think they're at 51 right now.
Oh, do I have old? I think I have current standings. No,
Um,
no. Celtics are 47,
yeah, Celtics are 47, Pistons are 51.
51. Yeah, yeah. Your Knicks, third place, holding strong. Okay, we kind of thought they're going to be in the battle for second and third. So I think you feel good about that right now, right?
A little nervous. I wish we were a little more consistent, and I wish we were the two seed, but I'm actually more optimistic than most Knicks fans. I think a lot of Knicks fans are doing at the moment. I'm actually think we're okay. We're in a good spot, and I'm excited for the playoffs.
The Cavs, Raptors, Magic, Hawks, and Heat, and 76ers rounding out that top eight. Uh, we'll talk about number 10 in a minute. Um, we both kind of, I think, if I remember correctly, Raptors, Magic. I don't know, maybe the Hawks were in there. I don't remember. But these are all teams that we kind of assumed were going to be in that hunt, especially the bottom part of the East. How are you feeling about those teams, Josh, and where they're at right now?
I think the Raptors are a little surprising to me. I did not think they would be in the five seed hunt, but it makes sense in this East. I think the teams we'll get into it with the starting five, but I think they're if you're these teams, you can talk yourself into making an Indiana like run. And that is kind of what the blueprint, except for the Cavs. The Cavs, I think, are legitimate, oh, they have the talent. If you're the Raptors, you're the Magic, you're the Heat or 76ers or the Hawks, you can be like, listen, Indiana made this amazing run last season. We think we could be just as good as Indiana, or we lick our pieces just as much as Indiana. I think some of that is more true than others for some of these teams, but I think both being in the East and the fact that Indiana had that run last year, it gives these teams a lot of hope. And if they can jockey and keep position or try and get a little high, and because it's a very tight race. If you look between the 6 seed and the 9 seed, there's like it's close to a half game,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe.
yeah. Yeah, they're
So
all
it's like
38, 39 to 38 wins. So Hornets are at 36. So yeah, they're all close.
absolutely. So it's like it's anyone's game who will be the 6 seed probably playing the Knicks and who is going to be in that play-in. And like it's going to be very interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think I did have the Raptors as a surprise team when we first talked about this. So I'm not too. I think the win total right now is a little surprising, but I thought they were going to be in the hunt to at least for the play in and possibly the playoffs. But they're the 5 seed right now, and if they could hold strong, um, you never know. You never know.
I don't
So
want to face the Raptors as because they could fall to the 6. They're only a game back. The Magic are only a game back from them.
yeah.
The Raptors are a team, and we'll get into this with the starting five. That like, if we're talking about who's the most likely to make the Indiana like run, I can see the Raptors very high up there.
I 100% agree with you right there. 100% agree. Let's move over to the Western Conference Final. Western Conference Final. Western Conference. No surprise, number one seed Thunder. They're going to run away with it. Spurs, Lakers, Rockets, and Nuggets. We assumed this was going to be, but we thought maybe a different order. I didn't think the Spurs were going to be as good as they've been. I think you even mentioned it when we were talking about the Spurs that their young players, if they were to show up, they could be a very dangerous team, and Wimbiana could be in that MVP conversation, which he is. And so they have been looking really good. Lakers, I thought they would be a good team, top three, that topper tier of the five. Um, Rockets, Nuggets. Nuggets are slipping a little bit. They fell out of the 3 seed. The Lakers slid in there, and now they had a couple game losses, but then they won their last game. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. Lakers are 9-1. It's crazy to look at that top and you see Thunder last 10 games 10-0. Spurs 9-1 in their last 10 games, and Lakers are 9-1 in their last 10 games. And then you got the Rockets and the Nuggets who are 5-5, 6-4. Um, the Lakers beat them boys twice. Luca Magic, baby. And we're gonna talk about Luca right now. I'm actually gonna ask Josh a question concerning Luca. But give me your, and we won't focus too much on the top five. And it kind of goes into our starting five, but we won't get into it. But like, are there any surprises in the Western Conference where you go, man, I did not expect that?
I think the 6 teams that are the top 6 aren't really that surprising to me. Like I think the Spurs are better than I expected. Like but they Wemby has ascended this year and looks really, really, really good. But like these are the 6 teams where it's like if you told me before the year the top 6 would be in some order: Thunder, Spurs, Lakers, Rockets, Nuggets, Timberwolves. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like I think I think what's interesting about the West is they're very people say the West is stacked, and they are stacked, but they're very top heavy. Like
yes,
those top 6 teams, I think, are like miles above the 7 and 8 seed. Like we were talking about the East and how close it was between the 6 and 9 race. 7 seeds are the Suns, who is like good story. I don't believe in them. The 8 seed is the Trailblazers. Sure, good for them, but I don't believe that they can make a run. The 9 seed are the Clippers, which is just interesting because Kawhi is playing it out of his mind. But like we do this every year with the Clippers, where it's like, man, Kawhi's playing out of his mind. Maybe if he's healthy, then maybe this team can make a run. I just don't believe in
if
the
he if,
Clippers.
if he if he doesn't take some time off.
Yeah, if he doesn't take some time off, and if everything falls right, and I mean, who knows? But like, I don't believe in them, and especially with them being the 9 seed right now, that means if they don't get out of the play-in, they'll have to play either the Thunder or the Spurs, which I think is a tough matchup for them.
100%.
And then the 10 seed
100%.
Warriors, which is a little bit of injuries, and also like that's not a. It's a shame because I wish the league is better when Steph is on a contending team, but they've been suffered the injury bug a little, and this is a roster that's kind of weird, and it makes sense that like if you were to ask me like because before the season I think we were talking about the Warriors, I think we were putting them in the same conversation as the Lakers, the Rockets, the Timberwolves. But like you tell me before the season that I mean that like the Warriors are going to fall off out of that group, I'd be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, with
Yeah.
Butler they've been pretty good, but Butler's injured,
Yeah,
and
and they're old. They're an older team, so all these
yeah.
injuries are catching up. So it would make sense. I think for me that you're right with the Warriors. I would have thought they would have been like in that tier with maybe the Rockets, the Nuggets, and the Lakers, or even or more like maybe the Timberwolves. But because of all the injuries, it kind of set them back. But they could still be in that playoff hunt. But I don't think they'll do anything in the playoffs. You know, maybe what's still a game or two here, but I don't think you can get past the first round if they are able to get in the playoffs. I think the Trailblazers are a little surprising to me. I mean, even though they're 35-36, they they're playing good basketball for a team that you kind of don't know what you're getting from them. So I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised the Mavericks. They just you talked about the Cooper flag, getting rid of Anthony Davis, and it's just, I think a lot of people, if they see the old GM from the Dallas Mavericks, they want to strangle him because of what Luka's doing right now, and that brings me to my next question, Josh. Midseason, we're kind of past the midseason. Give me your three MVPs right now, and I know you might mention Cade Cunningham, and we'll talk about his injury, but give me your three MVPs right now.
I think my three MVPs, and it's actually been a very varied race. I think it's been a very interesting race. I think Shea has to be up there, and if Shea reaches the games, he'll probably win it, in my opinion. Like, I think Jokic has missed a little too much time for me. I think Cade is up there, and I think Luca's up there. I also think Jalen Brown's up there. Like though, and I think every other, like to me, there's a four, and a Wemby as well. So like, wow. I think like my top three would be SGA, Cade, and I think Wemby, but it's very close. And I don't even know. Actually, Wemby might have missed a couple games, but like those are the three that's. But Luca's very close to me. Like it's been a very interesting and varied MVP race, in my opinion, this year.
Yeah, totally agree. I think that if Luca keeps doing what he's doing, and just having that point. Right now, he has 29 points against the Magic. And look at I'm not gonna say misery inspires you, but there is a rumor out there that his fiance broke up with him, is filing child custody paperwork, and since that's happened, that man had. My dog barks. Shh.
All
Sorry,
right,
my dog.
all
My
good.
my dog is barking. That man has gone on a tear, and I think somebody added it up. If you look at the points he's scored since that time, the average might be come out to like 40 points average a game since that time. So if he keeps going on a tear like this, I think you have to mention him. Um,
Especially if like SGA and Joker don't hit the games basically
yeah,
and aren't
yeah. So
eligible.
but I'll agree with you. I think SGA is probably number one. I think Wimby, he's in there, and I'll say only because of if Luca continues, I'll say Luca's my three, because he's not pushed the Lakers into third place. If he can get them to keep going upward, maybe they won't reach second, but if they can get them into like the 55, how many games we have right now? We're at
They're 45.
80. Yeah, no, but they're at 80 games right now, so we only got
70, I think. They've played 70.
they play 70, yes. So we got 12 more games. So if he can get them in the 55 range of games won, I think I would like to put him in that MVP conversation.
Absolutely. And what I would say is like this Lakers team is peaking a little at the right time.
Yes.
LeBron's also starting to play very, very well, similar to Luca. And like this is what we're seeing right now is the best version of the Lakers of like if you think the Lakers can maybe go on a deep playoff run or can make the championship, this is the type of Lakers that can do that. And it'll be interesting to see how JJ coaches. He's coaching very well right now, but the issue with JJ, both as his playing career and as his short coaching career, is he has to do it in the playoffs and succeed in the playoffs despite the large expectations. And all of the teams he's played on, I would argue, have somewhat large expectations when he was on those teams in the going into the playoffs. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think this last couple of weeks and how Luke has been playing, how LeBron's been playing, has kind of been like for a while. I thought the Lakers were contenders. I was like, and they would constantly say they're not contenders. So I'm like, okay, I guess I've got to believe you. But the way they're playing right now, I'm like, maybe I can open that contender door again. Maybe I can see a world where they make the finals.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of going back to our mid-season uh, check-in, what are your thoughts on the Hornets and their hot streak right now? They are 7-3 right now in the last 10 games. They're over 500. Um, Did you expect this from the Hornets, or did you expect this from that team, or is this something you thought was going to happen?
I don't know if I would have bet on it, but like I'm not super surprised just because of they have a very interesting talented core with LaMelo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Con Knueppel. Like that, and the fact that Knueppel has been not only as good as we expected, but like I would argue three times better than we expected
Hmm.
is a huge piece of this. I think they're a very interesting team, and the fact that they've gone so hot because they started the season ice cold. I
Yeah.
thought like after the first month or two, I was like, oh, they're in the tank race, I guess. However, they've have been so extremely hot. I wouldn't even be surprised if they're right now in the 10 seed. I wouldn't be surprised if they fight their way into the 8 or the 7. Like I don't think they'll get all the way to the 6 at this point in the season, but like I can totally see this team. And also, I didn't put them in my starting five, but like I think this is a team that can maybe surprise. Like I if I was a fan of a team and they're playing the Hornets in the first round, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. I don't think they can make a run. I think they can pull off an upset. And
Okay.
going into next year, I think that if they make the right additions, the right roster adjustments, I think this can be a very dangerous team. They kind of remind me. Um, no, that's not a great comparison, but I'll just say that like I think they're a very interesting team, and I could totally see them next season. I don't think this season they'll go on a run, but I could see next season they starting off the year and being extremely hot. The comparison I think I'm going to make is the this I don't know if you remember the Bubble Suns and how the Bubble Suns got extremely hot.
Yeah.
And they didn't make the playoffs, but they got extremely close and they got extremely hot. The next season, I think they made the NBA Finals, if I remember correctly. I'm gonna say the Hornets make the NBA Finals, but I can see an ascension where they are now going from the 10 seed and losing in the first round, maybe getting out of the play-in tournament to the 5 seed, the 4 seed, maybe even competing for the 3 seed. I think this is a team that we should keep our eye on, especially during the play-in tournament and if they make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely agree with you on that. Another just kind of my dog is really making me mad.
He has loud opinions on the Hornets.
He does.
Mm,
And another just a quick, mid-season check-in. Right now, give me your two team, each conference, who will be in the NBA Finals, from what you've seen.
I'm going to still go with my Knicks. I believe. I do believe. I'm a little nervous, but I do believe in my Knicks, and this might be a little irrational. But I do think we have the talent. I think we have Jalen Brunson is a good enough player to lead you to the finals as your best player. I really like OG and Mikel as our wings defensively in a playoff series. I think we have the playoff experience that other teams don't, other than Boston. But even Boston, this is a newer version of the same team, even though it is Tatum and Brown. And I do think that we're going to talk about Tatum, but he is not at full power yet.
Yeah.
And I don't think he'll be. I honestly don't think he might get there in the playoffs. I don't think so, but we shall see. The other thing that I would for the West, it gets much more difficult. The clear favorite is the Thunder, and I think I have to go with them to be honest. I do think it's going to be Thunder. I just that they've been. I think you got to give the champs the respect they deserve until they until they prove me wrong. And I don't know, they looked really good this season, and they also like SGA has been incredible both this year and last year. So it's just tough because I want to choose someone other than the Thunder, but none of the teams that I've like the Rockets was my pick. They've kind of disappointed me, and especially with all the off-field stuff, this I don't feel great about them. The Nuggets are the 5 seed. If they were maybe the 2 or 3, I might feel about them. The Lakers have been awesome, but like I can't get the beginning of the season out of my mind. And the Spurs, it's the first year. It's very tough for the first year them to do it in the playoffs. So I think like I have to by default go to the Thunder.
Yeah, I think for me, the East, I'm going with Detroit. I think they've looked good enough, and that was the one thing we talked about. Can they maintain it? And it seems like they've been able to maintain it. So I think the Detroit, and I have to agree with you, even though I'm a Lakers fan, and I won't do the homer pick. I have to go with the Thunder. I just think they've been looking great. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers were to able to make a deep run. To be honest with you. Adidas says my Nuggets have hardly had their starting five together this season. If they were all healthy for the playoffs, which is a big if, they could catch fire. Very true.
Yes, I mean the
Very
Nuggets are very. I mean, to spoil a little my starting five, they are my number one in the starting five by far. Like
yeah,
if they're healthy, they absolutely can go on a huge run, and we've seen them play the Thunder very tough both this year and last year.
yeah. All right, moving on to our next topic, and we'll go into we'll kind of combine these two. But Jason Tatum returning from his I believe ACL tear, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. Um, Achilles. Oh
Okay.
no, it was Achilles. I thought it was ACL. Returned from his Achilles. He's averaging 19.6 points a game, 8.6 rebounds, 3.4 assists, shooting 39%. Like you said, he's not all the way back, but it's good to see him on the court. Do you think he's a good thing for the Celtics or bad?
I think long term he is a very good thing. I think in the short term it's a little weird because like they're trying to give him the shots, and he's making some, but like if you look at his field goals for the games he's played, 3 for 15, 7 for 15, 8 for 18, 8 for 19, 10 for 24, and then 2 6 for 16s. It's like that he's not shooting efficiently. It's like when I watch him, his legs are a little dead, in my opinion. I don't mean that in a terrible way. It's just it's not his legs are not at the place where he was when he was one of the best players in the NBA. Maybe he'll get that way for the playoffs. I think he also came back from this injury extremely early. And I'm not saying that he's going to get injured again. I just think that like it's going to take some time for him to get the full power. It is good that he's here because also the thing is though, despite him not shooting like that, teams are going to have to respect him. Teams are going to have to like actually defend him, and he will be able to be a presence on the court where it's like, well, he's Jason Tatum. We have to guard him a certain way, and we can't be that lax about it. But I don't know. This doesn't move the needle so much for me yet, but I think it's going to be helpful either way, just because of teams will have to actually defend him and treat him like a number one option, even when he's not at the moment playing like it.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're going to have to, but the playoffs are a little bit of ways. He has some time to get his legs under him. But if he's able to do it by the playoffs, maybe that first or second round he can get by. But if he can get it by that second round, maybe going into the Eastern Conference Finals or the semis, um, I think he'll be a force to be reckoned with. Um, and I could 100% him see him being way more effective um, in that in that in the playoffs rather than the season right now. So I think that you got to give it a little time. Like you said, his legs may not be under him right now, but if you could get some games in, get some confidence, come playoff time, I'd rather have a somewhat 65, 75% Tatum than a 0% Tatum. To be honest with you.
Absolutely, and like he will draw the defense in a very interesting way. I think it's good to have him. I'm not expecting him to be full power even in the playoffs. My expectation is that he'll be close to full power at the start of next season with a full off season ahead of him. But who knows? I mean, I didn't think he would come back this early, and he came back this early. So it's very possible he can prove me wrong again.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Look, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a Kobe fan. Bam's 83 points. Just give me your thoughts right off the bat when you saw it, how you felt about it, and we'll have a little bit of a debate here. But give me your thoughts.
I mean, I didn't care too much. I'm not a big records guy. I was like, good for him. And then you watch the highlights in the game, and like the beginning is very impressive. Like what shouldn't be taken away is he played an awesome game. The end wasn't basketball, and that's okay. Like that was not basketball, and that's okay. We have context for these things. Like we're not going to just be like number bigger, so more impressive. I think I'm going to give the sports fan and media enough credit to be like, okay, we know what context exists, and we know that like that was 83 points. Some of it maybe was a little but still, even if it was a 70-point game, that's extremely impressive. And then like I feel good for Bam because he's an awesome player. I really enjoy watching him play. He's a great defensive player, and because he's more a defensive player, he doesn't get all the accolades, and we don't talk about him the same way. And at the moment, he probably is not a Hall of Famer, but like he's on the fringe, and like if this helps him inch towards it, good for him. Like to me, I'm not a big records guy. I don't really care too much about, especially single game records. I'm more like if you earn a record over like a career, that's more interesting, or over a season, that is more compelling and interesting than me than a one game record. Like the comparison I make is I don't care who has the most sacks in one game, but I care that Miles Garrett broke this single season sack record. So like that's just my opinion. That's why I don't really care that much about that type of stuff. But like I was like, good for him. I'm not going to. I'm not mad about it. I'm not super happy about it. It's fine, and we'll move on. Like I don't really have much. I know it's pretty boring, but I'm like, it's okay. Good for him.
I mean, on one hand, I'm not super mad about it. I agree with you. The end of the game wasn't basketball, so that's a little annoying. Um, I think as a Kobe fan and people who are Kobe fans, I think they're making it more of a big deal because of what happened at the end of the game and how he was staying in when they were up 20. But at the end of the day, if a team's gonna let you score those points, what are you gonna do? Maybe he has an incentive in his contract. If he scores so many points, he gets paid. So at the end of the day, the other team needs to stop him. Um,
Absolutely.
I think people are a little sensitive. Like I was telling somebody, I think a little people are just sensitive because when you looked at that 81-point game for Kobe, um, it was like nobody's ever gonna take this away. And if it was like LeBron or like Steph Curry or SGA, you'd be like, okay, it makes sense. Bam is the guy that broke it, and it's a, and I gotta point this out too. Kobe's 81 is not even the record, but that's the point. Nobody ever says Wilt's record. Everybody talks about the 81, and so because we all saw the 81 where nobody really has footage of Wilt's, but it is what it is. I think that's the disappointing part because they're like, if it was like, oh, it was SGA or it was LeBron or it was Steph or it was Kevin Durant, you'd be like, oh, okay. Bam is the guy that broke it. Yeah,
Bam's
I don't.
fine. He's like solid.
Eh, 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 okay.
He did take a million shots.
Yeah, and exactly, dude. Yeah, I saw people crying about Kobe's record when being broke. I was like, what record? It wasn't the record's 100. It's just we all saw 81, so we know, and where we didn't see Wilt. So I was on the fence about it, but I've kind of let it go and whatever. Enjoy it. great to see you.
Well, listen,
Great for you.
I think there's two ways. You can be bitter about it, or you can be like, you know what, good for him. And like, it feels better to say good for him than it is to be bitter about it. And also, I'll say that like, for those people who are like, well, Kobe's 81 is more impressive. I don't think a lot of people are arguing about that. And like, no one's taking away Kobe's 81 by just having Bam's 83 there. The number is bigger, but again, I'm going to give my fellow human beings and sports fans the grace and respect their intelligence enough to be like they know that like that 81's different than that 83, and we can talk about that, and that's fine. Like I don't think there's a lot of people who go number bigger, so number bigger better. Like I think we're more intelligent. We're an intelligent enough people to be like, yeah, that was bigger, but like,
Dude, it says, I think that Bam's 83 is certified as Sade in context of the game. The game was god awful. Did the Wizard even try to stop him? And what was the rest of the Heat doing? But good for Bam for it. Yeah, the other players were like, here, take the ball, score.
I think at some
But
point
but
they started
they did that for Kobe.
fouling intentionally to
Yeah,
prolong the game so Bam could get more shots.
yeah. I mean, but at the end of the day, if that's what the team decides, that's what the team decides to do, and you have to stop it. So, um, all right, I had mentioned Detroit, and I thought maybe they could make it to the finals. What I forgot to mention was Cade Cunningham and his collapsed lung. It was reported that he had a collapsed lung, and is injured, and I believe let's see how long he's going to be out for. Or is there a
Yeah, I remember the original report said an extended period. I don't remember they gave a exact timeline.
So it says he'll miss at least 2 weeks. Um, and but they said that this may affect the MVP chances because of that 65 game
Yeah.
that we talked about. Um, but Cade Cunningham has been the MVP of Detroit, and it's going to be exciting to see what he can do in the playoffs with this team. Hopefully, he recovers from this. But what were your thoughts on him getting injured and like just kind of what did you think?
I think it's a shame, but I think Detroit can hold water enough to keep the one seed, in my opinion. Like even though Kate is their engine offensively, they have enough pieces, and even though what makes them great is their defense, and I don't think their defense is going to suffer because of Cade being out. So I think the defense will be able to hold it together enough to be able to tread water, get the one seed, and hopefully Cade's back for the playoffs. But if they lose out, I mean, this becomes a big, huge thing if they lose the one seed. If they lose the one seed to the Boston or Knicks, that becomes a much bigger issue because then they're a team that's expecting to make the Eastern Conference Finals, and if they do lose out on the one seed, they're going to have to go on the road for the Eastern Conference Finals. I do think that matters a little when it comes to this East.
Yeah, and a lot of people are upset about, and we'll talk about the Delia's question right here. But a lot of people are upset about this because there's a possibility of him not getting that into that MVP race because of missing uh, the games that he's going to be missing.
Yeah.
He would be award eligible if the player at least plays 62 regular season games and then suffers a season injury, provided that the prior to suffering the injury, those 62 to 64 games represented at least 85% of his team's regular season games. Um, and it already talks about how Steph Curry, Giannis, and LeBron won't even apply or they won't be able to be qualified for these awards. So, what do you think this rule sucks? They should change this rule. What are your thoughts?
I'm actually the opposite. I'm perfectly fine with this rule. Like before this, we counted injuries into the MVP. Before this, you had to play a lot of games to win the MVP. That's the first thing. And like the NBA currently has an issue with star players sitting out too much and stuff like that, and not playing back to backs and like all this type of stuff. I'm sorry. I want you to play the games. I want that to matter. If you get injured, that sucks, but that's part of the game. And there are because Delia's has a question about, in the chat saying thoughts on Ants possibly missing out on a 41 million extension if he can't qualify for awards. That sucks, and I don't. It stinks that like that's so tied to being able to play games, but also I want the NBA players to play as many games as possible. And if it's an injury, it is what it is. And still going to get a crazy amount of money. So I'm okay with it. And I think that like maybe you shouldn't sit out some games if you want to qualify for these awards or money. If you're if because if you do get injured and then this happens, it is what it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm not being sympathetic enough in this sense, but like I'm just like
Totally unsympathetic, Josh. How dare you?
I know, but just play the games, man. It's just like listen, if you're injured, that sucks. That is what it is, and it happens. And like there are ramifications for personally and the team. That is going to happen, and that sucks. But that is the nature of sports, and I'm okay because no offense to the NBA players, they haven't always deserved the benefit of the doubt when we didn't have these rules in there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it does suck, and like you would want to change the rule, but I do see your point of you know, if you want to qualify for these awards, money, you have to play the game, and if you decide to sit out, then that's a you problem. You
And if
know.
it's an injury thing, if you want it to be an injury thing, then I don't know. Maybe you can make an exception if there's like a NBA, not the team doctor, but if there's an NBA doctor that's like a league doctor that's like this is a clear injury thing. You can make maybe exceptions to certain injuries versus others if you want to tweak it like that. Maybe is my guess. I don't know how that would work yet, but like. I don't know. I feel like if you're going to be in the MVP race, if you're going to be qualified for these awards, you have to play the games. Because before this, the voters did take off points for people who got injured. This wasn't like before this, man, if you got injured, we just were like, well, he got injured, we can't hold that against him. People the uh, held held players who got injured against them. It's like, oh, he missed too many games, he can't be the MVP. Like
Yeah.
because now there's a hard and fast rule, and maybe that hard and fast rule is maybe like, oh, this is not enough games to miss to kick you out of the MVP race. I don't know what is, but like you would be dinged for that anyway, even if there wasn't the 65 game minimum. Voters would ding you if you don't play enough games.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. And like I said, I do agree with what you're saying. But we will see what happens. Hopefully, Cade will come back
Mhm.
uh, in time. All right, let's get into our starting five, Mr. Josh. And our starting five topic of the day is teams currently seated at four or lower that can make a run in the finals. So, how do you want to do this? You want to go back and
Let's do
forth, or
5-5, 4-4, and if we have the same team who, like, let's say I have the Raptors 5 and you have the Raptors 4, let's say, then what we can just do is like we skip your 4 and so on. So I let's start Shug with your 5. Who is your number 5 in your starting 5?
I have the Cavs. Of the Cavs. I think they could make a run currently in the playoffs if they where they're standing at. I think they're a good young team. You do have some vets on that team, so and they've just been looking solid lately. So I have the Cavs as my five. Who do you got as your five?
Before we let's do the Cavs a little more. The Cavs are my number 2.
Okay.
And the reason why I think the Cavs are the number 2 is because I think the West is much harder than the East to make a run because of the top of the Thunder. You have Wemby, and like the 3 through 6, it's much more deadly than the East is 3 through 6. So I think the Cavs as the 4 seed, if you win that first round, you're maybe facing Detroit, who is very good but also very young, and you have the experience on them. And both the Celtics and Knicks, if you face them in the conference finals, are good teams. They're flawed teams as well. And the Cavs on paper should be able to make a run. If you purely on paper, they have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, two great big man, two very good defensive big man. Donovan Mitchell is a great playoff performer, and in theory, Harden being the fourth
Harden.
option, not as the main scoring option, being able to pass the ball, in theory, that should work out. I don't know if I believe that because Harden has all shown how he does it in the playoffs. In theory, the Cavs also have a decent depth. So, like in theory, the Cavs should be able to make a run, in my opinion.
Okay. Who's your five?
My five is the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
I think Toronto can be the Indiana of last season, where it's like they surprise people in the first round, and they can be a very tough out, and they have a lot of people that, and also former Knicks, like quickly R.J. Barrett. I'm going to be rooting for them, so I'm a little biased, I will say, but I think they have enough to. The question is, do they have someone who can control the game like Halliburton? That is the one thing holding me back. But because they're in the East, I'm giving them a little more leeway than the West.
Okay. I had the Raptors three, and for
Hmm.
the same reasons you're talking about. I do believe they can go on a run, and they've shown this year that they're a capable team. But we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But if they went on a run, I wouldn't be surprised.
Absolutely. Who's your number four?
I have the Heat. I think Bam, being one of the rare big men leading the way, uh, not really a typical center, but that kind of stretch four. And I just think they got a lot of young pieces. And Eric Spoelstra's been there before, so he knows what to do. He knows how to get to that deep playoff run. So they've looked pretty decent. So I for me the Heat would be my number four, but I think they're missing like that superstar, to kind of lead them. But Bam can be that. But like, when's the last time we had a center lead a team like that? Like we have Wemby, but he has good supporting cast around him.
Mhm.
So I think that I think they could do something, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
And also, if they do make that run, it would be incredible. And like that would maybe cement Bam as a Hall of Famer. If he has been to three finals, he has the 83-point game, and he's very good defensively. Like that is a legitimate. I'm not sure if it's enough, but it's a legitimate case to possibly get into the Hall of Fame.
Gotcha. Who's your number
So
four?
my number four is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay.
I think I just like the Timberwolves are a very dangerous team. I mean, they made the Eastern Conference Finals the last 2 years. I just
The
don't
Western
understand why
Conference.
this year is going to be different. It's like I can see them making the Eastern Conference Finals and then losing
Western
again.
Conference. Western Conference.
Oh, sorry, Western Conference, brain fart. But like I can see them making the Western Conference Finals again and just losing again. Like I don't, I have more trust on them getting out of the first round, but I also don't have as much trust them going through the next step and getting to the finals. And that might sound like weird logic, but I don't know what's different about this team than last year's team, where if they play the Thunder, let's say in the Western Conference Finals, the Thunder blew their brakes off.
Yeah.
They were clearly a better team, and I don't know what's going to change. Where it's like, oh, now the Timberwolves are ready for the Thunder. I just don't understand what the difference is going to be if they have to face the Thunder and how they're going to beat the Thunder.
Yeah. I have the Timberwolves number two. So,
Sounds good. So
who's
we
your
know you're 3-2.
yeah? So
Um, so
who are your three and two?
so my two was the Cavs. So we already
Oh yeah,
went
that's
over
right.
the Cavs.
Who
My
was your
three
three?
is the Rockets, and this is
Okay.
maybe some holdover hope. But like I've been very disappointing. I picked the Rockets preseason to make the finals. I've been very disappointed in them, but they're still in the 4 or 5 seed. They still have KD, and they still like have a lot of pieces I really like, and I hope they can put it all together. The team chemistry worries me based on the possible KD tweets that leaked, if I'm being honest. And
Yeah.
like I think I kind of was hoping this team would be fighting for a top two seed when I made that pick, as they did last year without KD. And they got the two seed last year without KD. But maybe after being bounced out in the first round you have these young players now have at least one playoff round experience. Maybe now they go into a series more prepared, and they have a vet like KD who knows how to get it done.
Agree. I don't have the Rockets on my list, so
I
I'm
don't blame you. I
assuming.
don't. They've been extremely disappointing.
Yeah. So I'm assuming we have the same number one,
Oh yeah, Denver
and which
Nuggets.
is Denver Nuggets. Yep. Shout out to Adelia. Yeah, I think Denver. They had that championship pedigree. Like she mentioned, they've been injured, so if they can get healthy, they could make a deep run, and I think that's very possible because they have a MVP in Jokic. They have guys that have been there. They have guys that won championships. They have they can do it. So I think they could definitely make that run. It's whether or not they're healthy. Um,
Absolutely. And like you have to give the benefit of doubt to maybe the best player in the NBA. Maybe that's SGA, but maybe that's Jokic. And Jokic, even with being a little injured this season, has put up insane numbers as he does every single year. He's someone that like you can't count out. And also Jamal Murray has had playoff runs which have been absolutely insane. If you get an insane Jamal Murray playoff run, Nikola Jokic is always at his best, and also Aaron Gordon is a really, really good player who can take over a game every once in a while and is the glue guy you kind of need to make this run. They have all the pieces. You just need them to be healthy, and you just need Murray to be at his best. But if those two things happen, they will be a tough out, and no one wants to face Jokic in the playoffs, just like how no one wants to face the Thunder SGA.
yeah, totally agree with you about that. So that's come to our end of our starting five. Um, it is, you know, not the longest of shows. I know you've missed us and everything, but we're going to be back. Promise you. Uh, Outside of we talk about Josh, you want to bring up anything else NBA wise? You want to talk about before we get out of here?
Sorry. Could you repeat that? Someone was talking to me in the
No,
other
no,
room.
no, no problem, no problem. I said, is there anything else you want to bring up before we get out of here? Any other NBA talk that you can think of off the top of your head?
No, I'm just excited for the playoffs, and it's been fun watching March Madness, and hope everyone's as excited as I am for both those things.
That's it. Yep, I'm pretty sure we all are. Um, Before we get out of here, Josh, remind the people where they can find you and all the content you're a part of on both channels of the LGR network.
Absolutely, you can find me here on the step on Good Friends Better Rivals on the step back. This will happen once a month, and we'll see you guys next month. And you can also find me on the Schmodown Show, which will be getting a new name next. We might have announced the new name. I apologize. It's been a long day, and my brain's a little fried. But that is on the movie channel show. I mean the network. And we have a very exciting one next week. We're going to do a Schmodown draft. So very excited for that. Choke's going to be on there as well. We're going to be drafting our own Schmodown faction. So take a look at that. Absolutely. And just supporting LGR, supporting me. So just like, comment, subscribe, and 100%.
Yep, and you can find me here. Still Conspiracy will be back very soon. It's been a rough one, you guys. It's been rough, but we'll be back soon. Like Josh said, you can find me this Friday. We'll be doing the Schmodown draft. Also doing post credits with Adelia on trailers. I will be doing a recap of Invincible. So if you're into watching Invincible, the TV show on Prime, I'll be recapping the first three episodes, and we'll be releasing that. And make sure just to, like we said, we're almost to 400. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with your family members. Let them know that we're close to 400. Oh, the
Oh, oof,
screwdriver's not
my
on.
apologies. My apologies on that.
Yeah, not a problem. So make sure to like, subscribe, watch out for all these videos, hit that notification bell because there's going to be a lot of content coming out from us. Um, so it's been a great one, Josh. We're going to get out of here. Everybody in.
Sorry. Adelia was talking to us. The Schmodown draft will not be live. It will be pre-taped. I got them mixed up. We will be recording it next week, and I'm excited to get it out to you guys. But it will not be live because it's going to be a huge. We got a lot of fun plans for it, and we got some special guests. I'm very excited about it, but it is going to be pre-taped, not live.
Unfortunately, not live because then you'd hear all the yelling and cussing each other out. But thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Be safe. Enjoy your Saturday, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.